So I'd like to wrap up this training course with a really fun project. And what I've got is a bunch of pictures that I took outside of my hotel room. Let me just load some of these up here. And this was on a recent trip to Las Vegas. And I essentially just stood at my hotel room, grabbed my little point and shoot camera, and I just started taking pictures. And I essentially tried to hold the camera level and just went around the kind of just pointed in different directions and shot all the way around my hotel room. Now, what I'd like to do is ask Photoshop to use a special automation script called Photo Merge to merge all of those images together. So we'll go to File, Automate, down to Photo Merge, and it will bring up this little dialog box, and it'll say, okay, what do we want to use? We want to use a folder of images, we want to use certain files. I like to use files. It's just the way I like to work. And in your source images, you have a folder called Pano for Panoramic. We're just going to select all of these images and say OK. So that's going to load everything in. We're going to leave our layout as auto, kind of default settings. And we're going to say, you know what, blend these images together. So with that done, we're just going to say OK and let this process all of this data. Okay, so that took about a minute to process, and what you're ended up with is an incredible image that has all of the layers smartly aligned, and you've got a really amazing set of data here, right? So the system, if we take a look at our layers palette, this looks very familiar. This is, let me go ahead and turn stuff on and off here. You can see buildings that appear and disappear, and what Photoshop actually did was it aligned this picture and said, okay, this particular shot would fit perfectly just like in this little puzzle piece section here. So a very, very powerful and very sophisticated tool set. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and flatten this in, because right now I've got all this stuff on individual layers. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take all of these layers, and I'm going to choose Layer down to Merge Visible, and that will flatten everything up, and I've got one layer now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our crop tool. Let's go ahead and, I don't really want to keep this window frame over here, so I'll go ahead and crop this image to something that looks like this, let's say. We'll go to Image Crop, and so we use some of our skills here. Now we got one little issue, and that's this little area right up here, this little sliver. We don't have any information, so if I zoom in, you can see it's pretty much the checkerboard. So what can we do? Well, we could get our paint tools and our rubber stamp tool and go ahead and stamp in the clouds, but we also know how to use a very, very powerful new feature called content-aware scaling. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a selection here of this area, and I'm going to choose Edit, Fill, Content Aware. We're going to let this think about this and process this data. There we go. Looks good. And when we zoom out, I got a beautiful sky, and you know, what more could I ask for? It's a lot of fun, right? We haven't done many clicks, and we got a really cool image from something that I just shot handheld with a little point and shoot camera outside my window. So really, the whole point of this course was, if you've never touched Photoshop before, I was hoping to create a number of really fun projects to get you comfortable with getting your camera, shooting some pictures, and being comfortable to come in and make some edits, make a brochure, have some fun with Photoshop. So on behalf of everybody here at Digital Tutors, I want to say thank you for taking part in this course. Just be aware that we have thousands of videos for many of the Adobe products, as well as dozens of 3D applications on our website, and we'd love to have you part of that network and continue training and improving your skill sets. We'll see you in the next training course.